Hold. Set. Perfect. All according to plan. And there you are. Hello there, Containment Hazard Assessment Team. This, as always, is Dr. Theron Sherman, and welcome to another coffee break with, well, Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for over a year and 4 months and counting, because that is right, the daily stream streak remains strong. I am here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next approximately 90 minutes. Could be a little shorter, could be a little longer. We'll see how the stream energy is today. But before we get to any general Q&A, allow me to start with a little bit of housekeeping. Mamori! Congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment Team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Alongside you, Dr. A. Mask, silent follower. Eli. Everyone who I've just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site-42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, interns, 100 stars, Tiger Claws, New Philosopher, Sarah Bacon Sue, Diet Coke, DJ, Ellie, Malachi, McCullough, Froggy, Aerostars, Dante, and Michael. Welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being here punctually, interns, and thank you for being here today, just for being you. Now, today's stream is sponsored, and the sponsorship is the stream subject. A 2-for-1 today. Because today we are preparing ourselves. We are getting ready for the upcoming Kickstarter for a live-action SCP series that has a pilot episode already available, in case you haven't seen it. But Episode 2's Kickstarter is coming soon, and today's goal is to get people notify on launch on the Kickstarter page. I am, of course, talking about the upcoming SCP Academy Episode 2, a live-action SCP Foundation series by friends of the channel, Dark Math Films. First of all, our thumbnail is this excellent photo from their Kickstarter page. Is that not just dope as hell? I mean, it's very, if I think about it a little too hard, a little Evangelion-esque, which is terrifying for everybody there. I wonder if that's a reference or something we should be worried about in the future of their series. But suffice it to say, Dark Math Films is ready to kickstart their second episode. If you haven't seen the first episode, it is on the Dark Math Films YouTube channel. With 640,000 views here, SCP Academy Part 1 is available for your viewing pleasure. 32 minutes of live-action SCP Foundation goodness. It is pretty dope looking, and the Kickstarter, which is opening next week, will bring us a second episode. But only if we, as an SCP community, as well as localized to Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters, do our duty to spread the word, make sure that everybody is notified of the Kickstarter launch, and then once it goes live, oh boy, had we better donate the hell to this thing. I do believe, if I've heard correctly, they are planning to get this episode done for a very compact $50,000, which honestly probably isn't enough, but they're scrappy, and I believe in them. If they say 50,000, I believe they can pull it off, but I do think we should probably give them more money so we can have a better show. And so, Psi-42 staff, you have a week to prepare yourself, because a reminder, for all of these Kickstarters, the first and second day donations are the biggest deal. When a Kickstarter is shown to have momentum, Kickstarter itself will advertise it more. It will spread it on the front page. It will become a project we love, which gets it more attention. We need to make sure this goes gangbusters. August 25th, people. Pay attention. The link is in the description of this stream. The title of this stream includes Dark Math Films' YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Dark Math Films, and make sure that you are on that pre-launch Kickstarter page, hitting that Notify Me on Launch button. Even if you cannot donate it, you need to share it. The more eyes we get on this Kickstarter, the more people who do have money will be able to help out. And so, there's the money people, the people who can donate. We appreciate your generosity. And then there's the engagement team, who might not be able to donate, but are willing to donate their effort because they still want to see an SCP live-action project thrive. And so we need both team members here. I hope you are ready to get the job done next week. The wait is finally over. SCP Academy Part 2 begins fundraising on August 25th. We will have early bird tiers offering discounts on our most desirable rewards, and everyone who pledges in the first 48 hours will receive a free digital download of the SCP Academy original soundtrack. Be sure to follow along for updates and share this page with everyone you can think of. That means on your social media pages, whatever they may be. That means in Discord servers where the SCP community is present. Make sure that you share it in a personalized manner, that you don't just spam it, because spam often gets taken down. So we have to be smart about how we share the news. SCP is fake, by the way. Intern Kiwi, I am shocked by this news. I cannot believe that the SCP Foundation, a creative writing community on the internet, of which I make live streams about and have been making content about for 10 years, is fuckay? It's fuckay? How could this be? I'm so shocked! Thank you. This performance was very important. Okay, so that is both our sponsorship segment and our stream subject, which is, hey, Dark Math Films Kickstarter, get ready, we got to make this thing happen. Now I'm going to move over to the chat, catch up on the donos, and we will have general Q&A for the remainder of stream. It's going to be a chill stream today. Coming over to the chat. Starting with Frankie, thank you for sending 3 treats and 3 bowls of chili to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they appreciate both the treats and the more hearty chili meal. Affleck, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself I guess some chili on your way past the commissary. Idea. We light a Chaos Insurgency dark side on fire and dance on the ashes. They really don't seem to take kindly to fire safety code. Well, they are a guerrilla organization, which means they got to be a little scrappy. So yes, I would understand if their bases go up like tinder, which I would appreciate because screw those traitorous bastards. Next up, Frankie, thank you for sending 6 more treats to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. They are littered in treats today, drowning in them. Bushy, thank you, Intern Bushy, for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself, I guess, a treat on your way past the commissary. Have a good day. We will, Bushy, we will. That's for sure. Zesty as hell? You're damn right, Intern Sweetie Pie. You're damn right. Interns 1000, Preben, and Bloodreza. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Why haven't the SCP contained Life of Luxury monsters? Well, Intern Shoot, I don't know what a Life of Luxury monster is, but I'm going to take my first guess that it is a copyrighted organization fandom IP outside of SCP, and we don't steal copyrighted works. Therefore, they are within their own universe. Monsters are the main antagonists of strange encounters in Luxury Dark. They're grotesque and highly violent supernatural organisms that frequently clash, replace, and devour murder humans for joy or biological benefit. It does sound like if they exist in the SCP universe, we would want them contained, yes. Dr. Sherman, just so you know, for the last few days, you've been misnumbering Death Knife in your favorite SCPs. You've been labeling it as 5715 instead of 5175. Well, damn it. Hopefully I will, get that right today. Yeesh. Dr. A. Mask, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some turtle soup on your way past the commissary. Good evening, Sherman Site 42. Hope y'all are well. Well, so far, so good. I may or may not have fallen down the stairs to my office and face-planted on the floor. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry to hear that. That is both painful and possibly hilarious. I hope the security footage is saved. Oi, Dr. Sherman, how do you feel about the recently announced VHS SCP movie that's coming soon as the next installment of the VHS movie franchise, as well as SCP's first legitimate cinema debut? Intern Weaver, right now I am waiting with bated breath for more information because there's a couple red flags on the play that I would like to see cleared before I can get excited. First and foremost, not only has the VHS team not talked to the SCP Wiki at all, but we don't even know if they're going to properly follow the Creative Commons license. This could be not a big success. It could be a lawsuit waiting to happen. So I'm a little worried about that. Furthermore, we're a little worried about the VHS franchise having used AI in a prop in a previous film, as well as the fact that they are funded by the United Arab Emirates government, which is blood money, slavery stuff. It's a whole thing. So I'm waiting really on the copyright one first, on the talking to the wiki. We can sort out the other two if this is going to be legal in the first place. If the copyright issue doesn't come clean, then none of the other stuff matters. Cloud Wolf, thank you for sending a star to the chat. You have now made them a 1-star chat. Let's see if our containment hazard assessment team can become a 5-star chat before the end of stream. Dr. A. Mask, thank you for donating again to say, my nose hurts now, I think the cams were running. Well, unfortunately you fell straight on your face. Didn't even catch yourself. Ouch. You might want to go to medical for that. What is your favorite SCP, Dr. Sherman? Intern Mike. I always say my favorite SCP is at the end of stream. It's a bit of a tradition around these parts. Now, you can wait till the end of stream, which I believe will be in an hour and 15 minutes, approximately. Or you could donate a super chat and ask, and then I'd answer immediately in return for your generosity. Or you could cheat and go to a stream from yesterday in which I did say my favorite SCP. So you have options. Do what you will. Do you like Scott? Intern Top G, I do not know who or what a Scott is. My friend is finally back on the wiki after an accidental false ban, but I'm very excited because they're so good at writing and they're adding Hunter Mark into it. Oh, very nice. That's one way to get your character on the wiki, is a friend of yours is writing as well. Yes, staff is not perfect. Sometimes bans come from incorrect information. I'm glad it sounds like this has been rectified. I hit the floor Peter Griffin style from what the cam saw. Oh, that does sound absolutely hilarious. I hope we get footage. I also would have accepted a Yamcha death pose as the final result. Always the best comic placement. What if 096 looked at a picture of himself when he tried to kill himself, or would he just go back to crying? So intern Kendall, first and foremost, SCP-096 is not a he. I know it's got a cute nickname, Shy Guy. It's still an entity in containment, which means it is an object, not a person. SCP-096 is an it. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols. Secondarily, it will not try to kill itself because it already knows how ugly it is. A mirror doesn't help, and in fact putting a mirror in its cell means there are now two places you can look to look at its face, either its face or its reflection, and so you're twice as likely to die. So don't do that, please. What happened to the white lab coat? Intern Elswick, my white lab coat is over there, as well as my rainbow tie-dye lab coat. I've got all my lab coats accessible, but this is the one I am wearing. Aflac, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, Perfect Cell is talking to Vegeta, goading Vegeta into hitting him as hard as he can. How should we respond? Well, can we get the footage? I would love to see the poor effects of what's about to happen to Vegeta. Always a laugh when Vegeta gets humbled. Hey, Dr. Sherman, I'm back. Did you end up reading 4757 finally? Also, how come you stopped making podcasts? Incognito Agent, it has been a very busy couple weeks. I have not read that article yet. Furthermore, I stopped making podcasts because it takes a while to record and edit. We lost our audio editor, although we still have our video editor synth. And for the effort, the time it takes to make the audiobook podcasts, it makes possibly 5 cents of ad revenue. They're not highly watched on any platform, as much as I enjoy the audiobook format for SCPs, I had to decide if I was going to work on more content that people actually watched and allowed the channel to grow. So focusing on shorts and streams is much more conducive to growing the channel and therefore getting more people into SCP, supporting the SCP projects we all want. So perhaps I will get back to the SCP readings at some point, but most likely I'm going to focus on other content for a while. Since 049 can cause all biological functions of an organism to stop, what happens if it touches an SCP that is conscious but isn't alive? In turn, Raft. Let's say, for the sake of argument, it wanted to touch SCP-5175, the Death Knife. The Death Knife contains the soul of a dead samurai. I assume there's no biological functions there. Therefore, 049 would touch the knife and nothing would happen to the dead samurai. Biological functions is the operative phrase here. So if an object does not have biological functions, then 049's touch has no effect on it. When did I get muted? When did that even happen? How did that even happen? Let's see. I'm just gonna say you're done. Uninterested. Alright. Where were we? Amber, thank you for sending a floating heart to the chat. I'm sure they feel the love. Clinton, thank you for sending 2 dubs to the chat. I'm sure they will take the dubs. Also, Clinton, thank you for sending 4 treats to the chat. I'm sure they will enjoy their treats. I was in the process of my epic burn for that one. Yeah, I accidentally clicked on their channel history and saw what they said before and decided they're just done. Uninterested. Dr. Sherman, considering we have discussed confidential topics on stream and you seemingly have not been reprimanded, exactly how anomalous are these streams? Could they be considered SCPs? Well, Intern Kevin, this is in fact a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. So, that should tell you something. Furthermore, these briefings have been approved by me, the site director, who decides what you learn about. And if I informed you of something you weren't to know, then I'm sure the overseers would have told me so by now. Not being informed on live streams thanks YouTube notifications. I'm sorry to hear it, Intern Combined. Yes, YouTube's live stream alerts are kind of unreliable, which is why, if you are clever enough to find the Site 42 Discord server and are 18 or older, therefore allowed to join, you can get the YouTube live alert roll ping at the start of every stream. What do you think of them SCP content farms currently? They're still big and stuff. Well, Intern Smiley, it depends on the farm. For instance, Detective Void is completely gone and no longer making content. The last time I saw the Rubber was only doing re-upload compilations of old videos. They weren't making new videos, and their comments were turning against them because of it. I believe Dr. Bob and SCP Explained, who are the better of the animation channels, at least, are still making content, but I'm not sure because I don't follow them because I'm not terribly interested in their work. Dr. Sherman, they added SCP-5655, the Spam Genie, to the 682 log. Well, this I've got to see. Termination log. In case you're unfamiliar, SCP-5565... No, 5655? Yes. SCP-5655, codename exactly the kind of genie you'd expect to find in an empty can of Spam, is this delightful little fellow who grants wishes in a very, very technically correct but not very successful manner. Such as I wish for an orange ball, you get a tangerine with a bite taken out of it because the genie stole it from someone's lunch. Wish for heavy stone, you get a 2.2 kilogram stone. It manifested above the genie's arms, crushing it, meaning it was just heavy to the genie. Wish for $1 million, got a stack worth of $1 million Liberian dollars, which is about $6,200, which, hey, that's nothing to laugh at. $6,200, that could be helpful for the commissary budget. So yes, very 10% successful wishes, if that. So what did 5655 end up doing to SCP-682? Tissue test record. The wish was, I wish for a method of destroying this tissue sample. Result, manifestation of a Philips brand meat blender. Additional notes, sample blended without incident. Termination test record. Wish was, I wish for a method of permanently terminating SCP-682. Result, SCP-5655-1 pauses in thought for several seconds before manifesting a slightly larger meat blender. Additional notes, object too small for usage. Rats, but that's basically how I expected that to go, so I'm not exactly angry. That's how you keep your mental health, is you set your expectations low. Then you're never disappointed and upset. What if you made it where the reptile cells can't regenerate? Well, intern Wallace, how do you recommend we do that? I'm all ears. Can we turn SCP-173 into potato chips? Intern Latu, how do you expect to turn a concrete and rebar statue into potato chips? Again, I'm all ears. I have no idea what you're going to say about this. Who is your favorite SCP YouTuber, Yugplat or SCP Wyatt? Well, intern Shoot, of the two, I don't know who Yugplat is. I've never heard of that one. So I guess I'd have to say Wyatt of those two. But if you want my favorite SCP YouTuber of all, it would have to be Radiger. Hi, so I've been trying to get into the SCP fandom and actually engage in it, and I found your channel a long time ago when I found SCP stuff on YouTube because my brother told me about SCP. Well, A-Links, intern, A-Links, welcome to interacting with the SCP fandom. We are here on YouTube. You can also go to the SCP Wiki proper and read the stories. Join the wiki if you want to vote on stories and write your own. You have options. I just want to know what the sheer number of times someone tried to kill 682 is. Well, Raffcraft, that log is very, very long. But what I might do for a rough estimate is I might search the term termination test record. That exact sentence shows up 260 times on the termination log, which has me think that we have therefore run, at the very least, 260 tests. Good to know. Clinton, thank you for sending a hiding to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they are hiding from the failure of all of these different 682 termination tests. Infinite IKEA versus Shy Guy. Intern Hernandez, what do you mean? How is SCP-096 Shy Guy going to fight an infinite IKEA dimension? Do you expect 096 to break the walls, break some furniture, eat some meatballs? What is the versus qualifications here? I don't understand. Dr. Sherman, what happens if 049 touches 096? Well, intern David, I do believe that 096 has biological processes, which means 049 could turn them off by touching it. Therefore, 096 dies. I was watching your shorts, and then I realized you're live, so in that case, good evening, Dr. Sherman. Well, welcome in, intern Linsmeyer. Glad you could make it to the live. What a crazy random happenstance. Intern Green, I am not intending to join any council. I am happy as a site director. Have you hit 1.1 mil yet? If not, how? Ah, yes, yesterday's sub goal, so... Unfortunately, we crested the wave and went down a little bit. Sub goals are always up and down. We are, right now, back down to about 72 subscribers from that goal. We lost about 80 subscribers and have been working our way back up. You know, when you have over 1 million, these waves happen. So don't get too upset about some lost subs. Sometimes we've lost about 500 subs in a day, depending. End of the day... It's, as long as we are trending upward, it's fine. But right now, we are 72 subs away from that 1.1 mil. Dr. Sherman, I used to LARP as you in an SCP Secret Lab server, Site 44. Interesting. I hope that you are as respectful and respected as I am in your surroundings. Dennis, thank you for sending 10 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have granted them 2 prestige ranks and still left them as a 1-star team out of 5. So, at least you got some prestige ranks out of it. Dr. Sherman, do you have any tips for doing voice logs? When I try to do mine, I keep stuttering and repeating myself. Any ideas of what could help? So, Intern Hunter Mark, the best thing you can do is continually practice reading aloud. Now, one thing that helped me a lot is that I was in choir, and we practiced sight reading. Sight reading means that you are slightly reading ahead of what you are reading aloud, so that your eyes are ahead of your mouth. And once you learn to process like that, you can read out loud a lot faster. It also helps for things like reading off a teleprompter. The other thing you'll want to do is you will want to practice, just in general, acting and speaking confidently. Allowing your mouth to keep running, even if it might come out slightly wrong. It is better to speak confidently and be wrong than be exactly right, but so nervous that you slow down and make it sound bad. And so, I mean, you can see that a lot of that in the real world, honestly. And so practice your reading, practice your sight reading, practice your confidence of speech, all sorts of acting classes, singing, stuff like that. These are things that can help you vocally and reading-wise to do better voice logs. Do you ever update your SCPs and create new stories, or just leave them unattended for all of time? Intern Journey of Games, I have had no major reason to update one of my articles. Actually, that's not true for two of them. On SCP-2700-EX, because it was featured in a book with other SCP authors' articles, I did add a couple bonus logs to it that are exclusive to the book. Nothing too major. And then for SCP-5886, this is a shame. In SCP-5886, there is a portal project to another dimension. And while I was reading SCPs, I found another SCP that had a portal project to another dimension. And I'd asked the author if I could edit my article to loop to theirs. That way they were linked, because, you know, dimensional portal's a dimensional portal at the end of the day. And I still have that in my tabs, where I have just not gone back and made the edit. It would take 10 minutes. I just need to do it. Dragons, thank you for sending a treat to the chat and a star, making them a 2-star team rather than a 1-star team. You're on your way. Dragons, thank you for sending 3 more stars to the chat. You have successfully made them a 5-star team for the first time of this stream. Congratulations, Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Have you ever heard of the SPC, Shark Punching Center, Intern Latu? Yes. I am well familiar with the Shark Punching Center. They are a bunch of meatheads pounding their fists into Salation flesh, which serves no good purpose outside of their weird Sharkus timeline. Saw a Ko-Fi notification. Let me grab that before I forget it exists. Why did I get a Ko-Fi notification if there's no Ko-Fi? Reveal your secrets. What's your problem? Alright. The alert was a lie. Curses and drat. Oh well. Is there something here? Nope. All clear. Where was I? SCP-953 is a baddie, not gonna lie. Yes, Intern Scribble, SCP-953 is in fact a bad entity that will murder you. It is in fact a baddie, as in a bad guy, yes. Or bad entity fox thing. Dragons, thank you for sending a dub to the chat. I'm sure they will take the dub. Also, thank you for sending a clock it. I'm sure they will clock something. You were in choir too, Dr. Sherman. Are you also a tenor, or were you a baritone when you were younger? I was a tenor too, which means not a high enough voice to sing the cool high note parts, and not a low enough voice for the sexy, sexy bass voice. Tenor 2, smack dab in the middle. Intern Bullet, thank you for sending a hiding to the chat. I am sure that in the next containment breach, they will successfully hide from any anomalies that are hunting them. Thanks to your urging. What would happen if SCP-682 went out into SCP-001 when day breaks? Intern Mike, as far as we know from the logs of When Day Breaks series from Mr. Illustrated on YouTube, it does seem like 682 is not immune to the sunlight and will try to regenerate off of the flesh monstrosity it turns into, but eventually will fail and be defeated by the sun. Dr. Sherman, I have trained the SFF Special Forces Flamingos. Well, Oates, what have you trained them in? What are the missions they're going to fulfill? Dr. Sherman, do you know of King Chris and the Council? Intern Supreme, I have no idea what you're talking about, no. It's 10:30 where I am. Well, new philosopher, in California it is currently 5:30 p.m. Intern Paprika, no, I have not read L001 The Truth yet. I only saw it yesterday at the end of stream, and I've been busy. So I have not read that yet. Were you in Boy Scouts? Dr. Sherman, not Mr., thank you. And yes, I was in Scouts for a time. I didn't finish or get full Eagle or anything like that, but I spent some time in the Scouts. Is Dr. Blue still a dinosaur, Dr. Sherman? As far as I know, Intern Stein, yes, Dr. Blue is still a dinosaur. Oh, wow. Intern Brooker got hidden from the chat for war crimes. Interesting stuff happening in the chat today. What was the book you mentioned earlier? Oh, Intern Skototra. Myself and several SCP authors, as well as other celebrities, were featured in an SCP book, an anthology. Let me wander off real quick and grab that. Dr. Chair, keep them entertained. This book here, featuring myself as well as several people such as DJ Cactus, Radiger, voice actors, Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt were involved for some reason. Just a bunch of people. But we've got a long litany of SCPs with interesting art in here. What's it called? It's called SCP Redacted. Not very clever on the name. It actually makes it kind of hard. Flip the book. Let me see the cover in the back. So we have the front. And we have the back. Is there a version of yourself through the multiversal shenanigans that you dislike the most? Intern dinosaurs. No, my ego knows no bounds. I'm pretty fond of all my iterations, and if they do something crazy, I will usually go to bat with them regardless. Dragons, thank you for sending another treat to the chat. I'm sure they're pleased to have another treat. A new video concept for the X is not an SCP, but if it was, you could do Roaring Knight from Deltarune. Well, Intern Mike, I think that's going to have to wait until we know more about that entity. All we know so far is that it opens dark fountains, aura farms, and throws swords at people. And turns into a ball sometimes. You saw nothing. Where can we get the book? Stakotra, I don't know if it was only a one-time run. Okay, it does seem to be on Amazon if you search for SCP Redacted for about $50, paperback. This is, I guess, somewhat sponsored. I was paid for this in the past, so I won't make any more money from you buying the book, but if you wish to, have fun. Bullet Dude, thank you for sending a treat to the chat. I'm sure they'll enjoy it. Where's your green pen, Dr. Sherman? Well, it's right here. I've got the green pen. I've got the gray pen. I've got the peacock pen. And I've got the wooden pen. Dr. Sherman, how do I send gifts? Well, Insurgency Commander, it is something you need to do on mobile, but it should be a little present next to your chat box. Did the blue fountain pen finally die? I put it in a drawer with its ink, because I've already got 4 pens on hand, so I didn't need that many pens in my pocket. But it is safe and not destroyed. What is Site-42? Well, Intern Harrell. Site-42 is a site of the SCP Foundation, of which I am site director. This briefing is me explaining to you, the SCP Foundation staff, the inner mysteries of this dark and mysterious place we work, the SCP Foundation. Hey, Dr. Sherman, what if SCP-038 cloned 682 would they instantly try to kill each other, or would they actually team up and cause chaos together? Well, intern Kendall, in other situations where 682 was split into two separate entities, they fought each other until one was dead, and then the other absorbed the first. So, that would be the likely scenario. What if we give some 420-J to that freaky statue thing? I think you're quoting the SCP 420-J article there. In any case, it's already stoned. It doesn't need it. Dr. Sherman, I trained the Special Force Flamingos in entrenching and trained them in better raid tactics and gave them gear on entrenching. I'm not familiar with the tactic of entrenching. I assume it's not just digging trenches, is it? Can I put 096 pictures on 173? Intern Dominic, can you please think of a more entertaining prank? We've heard that one so many times. It's boring. Do better. Get creative. You dig a trench and sit there, firing weapons on enemy forces. Okay, so it was digging a trench. Got it. So my question is, what are they holding the tools with? They are, again, just living lawn flamingos. They have a spike, and they have a beak, but it's not like the beak is movable. How are they holding any tools with which to entrench? Can we finally settle this? Is Verity an SCP? Intern Harrell. I don't know why you have to finally settle anything about this. It's quite obvious. Is Verity anomalous? Maybe. Is Verity on the SCP database? No. Therefore, it's not on the SCP database as an SCP, meaning it's not an SCP. It's quite simple. I don't know why you're making a big deal of it. Desk, are you an SCP? Well, Intern Crow, think about it. Is Desk anomalous? Sure. Is Desk on the SCP database? Maybe. Is Desk an SCP document on the SCP wiki? No. Pay attention. It's an easy process. You can do this by yourself. Critical thinking. Do you have it? Dr. Sherman, what happens if 049 touches 682? Does he just die for real? Well, again, 682 and 049 both are not he's, they are its. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols. Do not humanize the anomalies. How many times do I have to say it? Furthermore, we brought 049. 049 was allowed to observe and immobilize 682 after a long silence. So 049 commented the pestilence. Never have I seen it so malignant. 049 prepared to be emotionally disturbed and was escorted to their chambers. So 049 did nothing to 682 except examine it. So, no one died. Dr. Sherman has hired both inanimate objects and an animal. Why are we not questioning his leadership? Well, the inanimate object and the animals do good work, because that's why I hired them. So no, you can't question my leadership. It is obviously impeccable. Cannot be pecked. Birds need not apply. Has 106 ever got stuck in a wall? Intern Linsmeyer, the old man SCP-106, has trouble dealing with fluids, so that's why its containment cell has walls with fluid in between to make it harder for it to find its way through. But even the walls that it doesn't like, materials like lead, it still gets through eventually, so the answer is no. Beast, no. I need to talk to you in emails of the business variety regarding your game if you want me to make some sort of post, because I do not have the active time to play the game, nor do I know anyone who has. If I'm going to start putting my name on something and sponsoring it, I need to make sure that I know at least a little bit about it. If you even sent me footage of you playing the game, also putting footage of the game being played on your page would show more people about it, because again, we were talking about they don't know the gameplay. They know it's a text adventure, but it's got a lot of features listed. You do need to show more of what they're getting into, so to speak, I think, before people are going to take the plunge to pay for it. Is there a reason it's a paid game instead of a free game? For that instance. You could get some people in the door at least, get some word of mouth going. It's a difficult business. Game dev, marketing, and all this. And I'm in a situation because right now things are very busy around here. I've been doing a lot of video creation. If you look over the TikTok, we got some more videos up today. Trying to get general content back into motion. And I know there's a couple sponsorship situations coming up with Dark Math Films and other projects. So just, we got to talk in the business emails about that. Zinc Z, if you don't know why August 25th is so important, go into the description of this stream and follow the link. You will know. Dr. Sherman, how much are you willing to spend on the Kickstarter? Well, intern Journey of Games, I'm willing to spend a lot more than I have, which is the problem. It's not how much I'm willing to spend, it's how much can I afford to spend right now. I tell you guys very often, the SCP Foundation is an arts community, which means we are well familiar with starving artists. That's why we all have to work in this together to get the Kickstarter up, because I can't afford to do this by myself and just throw money at them. I'm going to have to figure out my budget over the next week to see what I can put in their coffers safely. Intern Scribble, you may not pet the pataphysical narrative scaling uber monstrosity. No. Is it possible to disassemble SCP-250? Well, Intern Badger, I'm not familiar with what that is off the top of my head, but I can take a quick peek at the database. Codename most of an Allosaurus. Okay, an animate fossil skeleton. Aggressive behavior. And so I'm going to say that it might be possible to disassemble it, but you'll get killed first. That's most likely. Living dinosaur skeleton probably does not want to be disassembled. Probably will have opinions on that. And opinions on separating your lower and upper halves from each other. Intern Beast, no, there's no need to apologize. I didn't say you were spamming. Don't worry. Reminder to everyone in chat, you're allowed to ask your questions repeatedly because I might not see them. There's 50 other people in the chat with you right now, so you're allowed to re-ask your questions. I've got the slow mode going. Are we allowed to fraternize with our authors? Intern Nolono, that sounds a little masturbatory, but you do you. Literally, I guess. Ugh, pataphysics. Ay, ay, ay. Dr. Sumerian, welcome to the chat. How do I get 1507s to use tools? I make it work. Oats, that's not an answer. That's not an answer at all. Are you duct taping trowels to the lawn flamingos? Do you have any tips on pen spitting? Well, intern shoot. You take the pen between your fingers, you wiggle it, you get it horizontal, catch it in the next one. Boom. One finger at a time. You go over, over, under, under. You go both ways. Practice palm up. Gravity helps keep the pen in your hand, which makes it slightly easier. Do most SCPs even care that they are in containment, Dr. Sherman? Well, intern, I'd say more SCPs than not are either locations or objects that are not conscious, which means no, they don't care. But among the ones that are living and cognizant of their containment, many of them don't like it, just like many people don't like being in prison. Yeah, no, I've tried spinning the pen and throwing it across the room. I was directed by the pen. Intern Hunter Mark, everyone has thrown their pen from time to time. Except for me, I've never thrown or dropped my pen. I am perfect like that. But among everyone else of the citizenry, it takes practice and repetition, but you get there. Zinxie and Hunter Mark, no, you are not unworthy, you just need more practice. Practice the pen. That is how you get good. You do not quit when you fail, you persist. How did you contain SCP-3812? Intern Solly. You should read the SCP-3812 document. It's pretty well explained, but suffice it to say, it mostly contained itself. By the way, Site-42 staff, we are approximately 24 minutes remaining in stream. 24 minutes. Dr. Sherman, I believe I've seen you drop your pen before, but I could be tripping. Yes, Zinxie, you are in fact tripping, because you have seen nothing. Chaos Insurgency, you have 2 questions, and both of them are stupid questions. Can we turn SCP-173 into peanut butter, since its nickname is Peanut? How do you intend to turn a pooping, bleeding, concrete rebar statue into peanut butter? How do you intend to do that? In what manner? In what way? Secondarily, can I pet 682 if I bring 999 with me? No! Because we know what happens when 999 interacts with 682. 682 shoots out a laughter wave that cripples the site staff, and then it breaches containment and murders a bunch of people. No to both of your questions. And ask better questions. I thought we were professionals here. Well, you are an intern with double agenting with the Chaos Insurgency, so we probably did have to send them someone of their caliber. And they are awful. Intern Solly and Intern Post, welcome to Site-42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. For those keeping track, we are currently 60 subscribers away from our next 100,000. 60 subscribers from that 100,000 mark. Could be very fun. What's the difference between codename and SCP number? Well, Intern Scribble, the codename is a jaunty nickname we give anomalies such as Shy Guy or Old Man or The Ballad of Jim Biggio, while the SCP number is just the SCP number. What if you put the Plague Doctor in the Infinite IKEA? Intern Britain. Then the Plague Doctor would be in the Infinite IKEA. What more is there to say? It would run around, probably turning the survivors who exist in there into zombies. The IKEA employees are weird in that their body parts kind of summon other to them, so if... I'm not sure what happened with the employees, honestly. They're a bit weird. But I guess 049 does have that death touch, so perhaps that would make short work of the employees, and they would then be zombies on 049's side. Intern Solly, the strongest SCP is clearly SCP-6101. Its description's first sentence is SCP-6101 is the most powerful SCP. Nothing else to say on that subject. If someone makes a story in the SCP Wiki on an SCP, and the SCP gets deleted for non-controversial reasons, just failing the votes, does the story also get deleted? So let's say, for the sake of argument, New Philosopher, someone uploaded at the same time an SCP document and a tale about that SCP document. Then what would probably happen, I imagine, if, let's say, the SCP was under the deletion threshold and got deleted like you're saying, but the tale was good enough to not get deleted, I imagine what you'd have to do is simply change the SCP designation so that it didn't link to an article that was unrelated to it. So you'd have to do like SCP redacted or something. SCP black box, black box, black box, black box. And then you could have that SCP in the tail without it being linked to an SCP number that isn't for its own SCP. Because no, you would not need to delete the tail if the tail survived the vote reach. Wait, isn't one of the SCPs literally God himself? Intern Solly, if you're talking about the one everyone thinks it is, SCP-343, no. SCP-343 is not God, it's a reality bender with delusions of godhood. Hashtag 343 is fraud, not God. But we do contain several Greek gods, Hindu gods, gods from other religions. So, we contain a lot of gods, if I'm being honest. And I mean, we contain 6 different iterations of Jesus Christ, so... Dragonic, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi, which, as we all know, only takes 3% of your donation as a service charge, whilst YouTube Super Chat takes 30% of your donation. So, we definitely appreciate you making the effort. Grab yourself a blue milk on your way past the commissary. I return! Never send me back to L-Corp. I'd rather fistfight 682 naked. They had a Keter-class entity marked as safe, and on a good day, they lost 4 people with half a dozen escapes. On a bad day, they lost 90% of their people before shrugging and going on to the next day. Well, Dragonic, I will say I did not see the Lobotomy Corporation as competent, so you have affirmed my priors, which I appreciate. What is your favorite SCP? Intern, shoot. It's a tradition here that I say my favorite SCPs at the end of stream, which is in about 15 minutes. You could do a super chat donation or a Ko-Fi to ask, and then I'll answer in return for your generosity. Or you can cheat and go to the end of a previous stream to see the answers. Either way, you'll find out in 15 minutes if you stay around for the end of stream. Does the game 3008 count as a fan game? It's based on SCP-3008, but it has its own characters, and lore, so it's an SCP fan game. If it's a game about SCP-3008, then yes, it's a fan game. Obviously, SCP allows you to make your own lore on top of it. So yes, they added their own lore, but it's still an SCP game at the end of the day. Yes, clearly. Didn't even know Site42 did streams. I'll have to check these out more when they happen. Intern Dorky. The YouTube algorithm has finally graced you. I mean, we've only been streaming every day for a year and 4 months straight. So, the YouTube algorithm has screwed you over poorly if you didn't realize we streamed. But I'm glad you found us finally. And reminder, hit the subscription bell if you want to be notified when we stream. And because that's very often unreliable, if you join the Site42 Discord server, there is a YouTube live alert role that I ping at the start of every stream, so that you can know exactly when we start. It's much more reliable that way. You saw nothing. If an SCP like the Allspark existed, which turns any object into living things, how would you contain it? Any object could become alive at any point. Well, we would put it in a deserted space where there's no objects to come alive. Clearly. You just keep it away from things. Put it in an empty room. Put it in an empty field. Wouldn't the back rooms be an SCP? Well, intern Solly, it is anomalous, but again, because it's a different intellectual property that is copyright, no, it's not an SCP, because we don't steal things that already exist. We make our own SCPs. But it is very similar to other spatial anomalies, such as SCP-3008, the Infinite IKEA. So, very SCP-adjacent lore. Different concept for X is not an SCP, but as well as you can instead do Flowey from Undertale. Well, yes, but I'm sure if we did that, we'd have to talk about other time-traveling, resetting SCPs as such. Do you have a favorite SCP Roblox game? Intern, shoot, I've never played an SCP Roblox game, so definitely not. Despite the IP rules, seeing them contain a Digimon would be fun, haha. Well, Dorky, the digital monsters, that is a... depending on how the computer works and the rules... Faraday cages can be used to keep things from reaching the internet, which means it could lock things down. We did contain a god inside Minecraft that one time, so we have possibilities. Intern Amin, I don't play any Backrooms games, so I don't know what the best one is. Intern... Hermione, I don't really like analog horror in general as a genre. It just doesn't appeal to me, but YouTuber Don Gendons is actually doing some very interesting stuff with SCP analog horror. YouTuber Don Gendons, friend of the channel, check him out if you like analog horror and SCP. Intern Error and Intern Green Dude. Welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Sherman, Digimon enter the real world half the time. It's literally half the setting. Oh, yeah, I have not seen Digimon since I was a child. I was more of a Pokemon person. Well, we'd have to look into their... Are they still digital? Could they be trapped within some sort of Faraday cage regardless? Or are they flesh and blood entities, meaning that they have some sort of physical containment cell. I'm sure. I mean, they're just creatures. It's not that difficult. Intern Amin, are you more of an SCP person or a backrooms person? I am 100% an SCP person and 0% a backrooms person. That's as more as it could be. Intern Hermione, thank you for sending a star to the chat. You have reverted them to a 1-star team, down from 5. But at least they got another prestige rank, so there's that. And 10 minutes remaining in stream. Do remember our stream subject and sponsor. A live-action SCP series is opening its Kickstarter next week. SCP Academy Episode 2 is starting its Kickstarter. Wait, what do you mean Episode 2? I mean, you probably haven't seen Episode 1. SCP Academy by Dark Math Films. It is... Oh, hello there, 049. Well, we open up to the trippiest part, geez Louise. So yes, make sure you are aware of that Kickstarter. It is linked in the description for easy hunting. Check out Episode 1 and be prepared to help us back Episode 2. It's got to be a community effort. We all need to band together, both people who can afford to donate and people who have the time to spread the word. The money team and the engagement team. We work together. That's how we get live-action SCP shows on the road. Intern Smith, Episode 1 is amazing. They did a good job making a live-action SCP Academy. And now I want to see Episode 2. So we got to get these guys funded. Why does Google say that SCP-3812 is the most powerful? Intern Solly, do not trust Google's AI. It thinks SCPs are real. Okay? We cannot trust Google's AI worth a damn. You should not trust Google's AI worth anything. Lamau does it really. Yes, Intern Dorky. So the Google AI, if there is an SCP that has a lot of articles written about it, showing that it isn't real, such as SCP-173, then it acts normal, and it talks about SCP-173 as a story. But if you pick an SCP that is less commonly talked about, that's only documentation is itself on the wiki, then Google thinks it's a real thing, because it can't tell the difference. It's a stupid AI. What should I do if I have the maybe good idea for an SCP but not the skill to write it? Intern Paprika, what you should do is you should practice your writing so you can make your dream SCP a reality. Writing is a skill that is gained through practice, much like other things. And so, if you need to, take some writing classes. Watch some YouTube videos from writers. Take some beginning writing classes on YouTube. And go through the training, write your story, edit it, improve it, show it to people, get some notes, get it more edits and improvements from there. The more you work on it, the better you get. Why did you lock up SCP-999 even though it cures depression very easily? Intern Sully. For the same reason that we lock up the infinite pizza box even though it could cure world hunger. because the most important mission of the SCP Foundation is maintaining secrecy and normality. We make sure that civilians can live normal lives. They don't need to deal with magic fuckery all the time. So, even if it's beneficial, it stays in the box. Dr. Sherman, have you heard about SCP Lost Hope? Ethan Nathaniel, I do not know what that is. Can you elaborate? Wait, does the Endless Pizza Box get used for pizza parties? Well, of course, Dorky. Inside of the SCP Foundation, we use it for pizza parties, of course. Just not outside of the Foundation. Dr. Sherman, if I were to write an SCP, how do I know what numbers are taken? Intern from the Chaos Insurgency. You should visit the SCP Wiki a little more often. So when you go to any page on the SCP Wiki, you'll see the series list. The most recent series are where there's going to be open numbers. And so when you're on the database, as you scroll, you find certain slots that instead of having names, they say, access denied. Access denied means that the slot is open, and that it can be filled with a new SCP. So as you can see in the 9 3s and the 9 4s and the 9 5s, there's a lot of access denieds. A lot of access denieds in the 9 6s. And so, when you finish your draft of your SCP, and you are ready to post it, that is when you pick from the open slots. Terragal, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a milked shake on your way past the commissary. Why do so many researchers want me to go back to SCP-2316? I told you I don't even see a body of water. All I see is a field, not some lake full of bodies. Well, that'll be why, because that's weird. You know that's weird that everyone else sees a lake full of bodies. You're the only one seeing a field where there's no field. There's a lake. That's strange. So yes, you need to go back so we can figure out what the fuck that's happening because of. Dr. Sherman, can you check SCP-9896? That was the SCP slot I wanted. Journey of Games, I just showed you how to look at the slot list. You should take this opportunity as a learning opportunity and check the slot list to see if your slot is open or not. Put my education to practice. By the way, Site42 staff, we are literally in the last minute of stream, so I recommend you get your last minute questions in. 1 minute remaining. What's your thoughts on SCP-666, the Yuletide Man? I think that's the right one. Intern Schultz, that's 4666. SCP-4666 is the Yule Man. It's a terrible anomaly, jerk-ass, murderer, and I wish we could contain and or destroy it, but it's a teleporter, which makes it very annoying. Do you like spicy foods? Yes, intern, new philosopher. I am a fan of the spicy foods. SCP Lost Hope is a ASYM in development. I don't know what an ASYM is, Ethan Nathaniel. That is not a acronym I am familiar with. Can Shy Boy get you if you're in space? Intern Thompson, do you know how fast SCP-096 can run? SCP-096 does not skip leg day. It can use its strong squat booty to jump to space and get you. Yes. An ASIM is a game like Dead by Daylight, so asymmetrical, I see. So SCP Lost Hope is a Dead by Daylight, like is what you're saying? No, I have not heard of that at all, but that could be very fun and interesting. Supreme Commander, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a chicory coffee on your way past the commissary. It's me, Northern. Also, the Council is a meme cult created by its King Chris and his community who want to take over YouTube. 3 current factions, the Council, the Organization, the Resistance. Oh, is this like the Vantalord war back from like 4 years ago? Oh my, how internet history continues. Well, I don't know what the Council is, but of the 3 names of the factions, the Organization sounds more like the one the SCP Foundation would side with if it came up. Just sounds more our vibe. And Site-42 staff, we are at the end of stream. So first and foremost, do remember our sponsor and stream subject, as the desk has shared in the chat. Dark Math Films is making a live-action SCP series, and they are kickstarting their 2nd episode next week. And we, Site-42 staff, must be there to support the cause. And so, thank you all in advance for making sure you log into Kickstarter and hit that Notify on Launch button, and for helping spread the word and donating when the time comes. We don't get live-action SCP films unless we all work together, because the studios are not willing to help us thanks to the Creative Commons. So it takes our teamwork to make it happen. And I thank you for your service in that. Oh, I was going to do the outro, but now, Supreme Commander, thank you for donating again to say. I've created my own faction known as the Founders Coalition. If I can get it going, the council goes into comment sections asking for people to join. Okay, so people from the faction show up in other chats and comments and make their meme. Yes, this is a common tactic with these TikTok cults to gain followers for the main person at the front of it. I wonder if I can find anything about them and piggyback off their content a little bit. Maybe I'll make a video about it later on. Can't be bad to interact with the YouTube side of things a little bit. Alright, so here at the end of stream, as is tradition, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that my favorites are the ones I personally wrote. That would be sheer narcissism. I wouldn't do that. But if you want to read the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site-42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can read the SCPs I wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects too. And while you're on my author page, one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that people ask about very often in the chat, but then once I give them this very blatant hint as to where the links are, it's up to them if they're smart enough to find them or not. Are you smart enough to find them? Only time will tell. But in the meantime, you'll also, on my author page, have the option to become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member here to support Site-42 monthly. You can do Ko-Fi or YouTube Super Chat donations to donate one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help out myself and the Site-42 staff, as well as help fund our future projects, collaborations, field missions, etc. And we thank you for your service. Furthermore, Site-42 staff, if you are part of the Broke Gang and you cannot donate, do not despair. We are an arts community and we very much understand starving artists. But you can still help us out by being a member of Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename the Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make fan art, memes, shitposts, edits, out-of-context compilations, not just of Site-42, but also of the SCP projects we support, such as the Dark Math Films SCP Academy coming soon, the SCP Wiki and its authors and artists, the SCP filmmakers, game devs, animators, merch makers, podcasters, etc. You are helping us to get bigger and better SCP projects made, and you are getting more people in the community, which makes it all more likely. And we thank you for your service in that. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5715, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on the last one. It's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, and 8980. Content warning on the last one. It's a rough read. So, Site-42 staff, this has been another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary on the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. I did not say 5715. I definitely said 5175. I was cognizant of it. I was cognizant. 5175. I said it twice. Go roll it back. I defy you. I know I said it. You roll the stream back and you'll find out. Anyways, I have been Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site-42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. This appeared as a moral dilemma, because at first it was weird, though I swore to eliminate the worst of the plague that devoured humanity. It's true, I was vague on the how, so how can it be that you have shown me the light? It's a brand new day, and the sun is high. All the birds are singing that you're gonna die. How I hesitated, now I wonder why. It's a brand new day. The credit song is Brand New Day from Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog. Okay, I said 5175 one of the times. At least one of them I got it right. I feel like I said it both. I'm going to go back and roll it back myself, because I know I said it right for one of them. I'm going to check. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with my findings. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect.